Hi there, and greetings from the Himalayan Mountains of northern India. At the end of this video, then I will grab the camera, give you a panorama of the spectacular view here. It's really amazing. So this video is a reply to Teal Swan on her latest video of spiritual bypassing. And before I jump into it, I just wanted to mention that, first of all, pardon my squinting. It's a very bright spring day here. And I wanted to mention that for anyone who is a fan of Teal Swan, then I interviewed her last year twice, and both of those interviews are on a playlist on my main channel page. So if you go to my main channel page, Gabriel Kundalini, then you'll see that playlist there. So I thought that her video was really awesome and a really important topic, and really just one of the crucial things to be aware of in our lives is to what extent are we making use of various spiritual principles and beliefs and ideas and everything to actually bypass or go around the really important, deep, most essential spiritual work that needs to be done, of really facing that tough, challenging, difficult, intense inner stuff that makes our lives unpleasant a lot of the time, and which we struggle with and wrestle with, and which is really what we're trying to figure out, is how to come to a place of real inner peace, peace of mind, positive outlook on life and on ourselves, and yet we struggle with various feelings of the whole range of depression, anxiety, frustration, self-judgment, judgment of others, anger, regret, guilt, you name it. How do we convert all of this negative stuff, or get rid of it, or whatever the hell you're supposed to do with it, so that we can be positive and happy and joyful and fun to be around and excited about life? And I think that there is a lot of misunderstanding and confusion and difficulty around dealing with this stuff. And there are a lot of spiritual beliefs and principles and catchphrases that I think really kind of lead people in the wrong direction. And that's what Teal was trying to get at with her video. Phrases like focus on the positive, and what you resist persists, and if you focus on it, you only create more of it, and beliefs like this that certainly may very well have some truth to them, but can be misunderstood or misdirected or utilized in a way not intended, etc. And so I wanted to try to illustrate in a clear way, as much as possible, an important truth, in my view, of how to deal with negativity, basically. How to deal with negative emotions, negative belief systems, these feelings and judgments that arise. And I think there is a big misunderstanding within the context of focus on the positive, and if you focus on the negative, then you just create more of it, you just affirm it, and so therefore, think positive, don't get caught up in or drawn into the negative, and seek to have a positive outlook. So I have a specific example here, which I had come up with a few days ago before I'd watched the video. And I realized that this example was a perfect opportunity to put into a video responding to Teal on this. So here's the scenario. Your house burns down. And it could be any, traumatic, dramatic, difficult circumstance in your life. But let's just say that your house burns down. And it burns to the ground, you lose all your possessions. Let's just say that everybody's okay, you're okay, nobody's hurt, nobody died, but you've lost all your stuff. You've been living there for however long, 5, 10, 20 years, accumulated all this stuff that you're attached to, and then just in the course of an hour or two, then it's all gone. So how do you deal with this? Now, somebody who is on a committed spiritual path and is aware of the concepts of attachment and impermanence and the illusion of life and all this kind of stuff might tell themselves, well, a spiritually enlightened person would recognize that it's all just stuff, it's just a phase in my life. At least I'm okay. I have my life. I should just be grateful for what I have and just let it all go, because it's all impermanent anyways. And to be attached to that kind of stuff is coming from ego and being locked into an illusion about life, and that things are in some way permanent when they aren't, etc. You get the idea. That someone who is aware of these kinds of principles would likely have these types of thoughts going through their head and might tell themselves, therefore, since I am aspiring to be an enlightened individual, then I should act like an enlightened individual, recognize these truths, and just be at peace with it. Just let it all go. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Don't be attached to it. Just carry on with my life. And just be fully in the now with what happened, with a complete state of acceptance. Here's the problem. How do you really feel? How do you really feel? What real feelings actually come up for you as a result of this circumstance? It can certainly be beneficial to be aware of all these ideas, but the question is, to what extent are you using these basically as spiritual rationalizations to ignore and deny how you actually feel? So how many people, when their house burns down, are not going to have feelings of frustration and loss and sadness and anger and regret and all kinds of negative stuff? If you are genuinely a profoundly enlightened person who, when a circumstance like that comes along, you just fully accept it in the moment at the depth of your being, and can truly just, let it go and just be at peace with it and just move on, then great. But we need to recognize and accept where we're really at, and none of us are actually at that place. Maybe there are a few individuals walking the earth who are in that sort of a truly enlightened place of just being able to accept whatever transpires in their life. I'm sure there are a few. But most of us are not, and you are bypassing, as Teal said, you're bypassing the healing process and an opportunity for evolution by rationalizing away your real feelings in favor of a focus on the positive kind of attitude. These types of events, and not just the once-in-a-lifetime dramatic events like this, but events all throughout our life, throughout the day, to some extent or another, are opportunities for us to connect with deeper feelings within. Really, the whole point of the third dimensional realm of being a human on Earth is that the circumstances we create are very dramatic. They are drawn to us because of our denied emotions and belief systems and much that is buried within our subconscious, aspects of our being that we are not fully aware of, not conscious of, yet are held within our being in a unconscious way. And so the vibration of those denied parts of ourselves draw to us difficult circumstances, but those difficult circumstances are also intended to mirror to us and awaken within us those denied aspects of ourselves so that we can face them, get in touch with them, and ultimately resolve them. That's really like just the whole point of the third dimensional realm of extreme contrast, is that we've just gotten to this point where there's so much denial within us that things have to be very intense and dramatic to get our attention. Otherwise, we just kind of sleepwalk through our lives and stay mostly unconscious and asleep, and continue to ignore and deny these buried subconscious parts of ourselves that we need to bring into our consciousness. And that is the real work on the spiritual path, is shedding light on the subconscious and coming to greater awareness of how we are creating our reality without our realizing it through these subconscious patterns within us. And so when dramatic events transpire in our lives and they bring up a whole bunch of negative shit, then that is an opportunity for us to integrate that negativity into our conscious awareness through working with it, not through denying it and saying all this unpleasant, difficult, challenging, dark, murky, scary stuff is not good, and it's not love and light, and so therefore, just kind of block it out and think loving and positive and grateful, forgiving type thoughts. Doing that's what Teal is talking about, as I understand it. That is spiritual bypassing. That is using positivity to ignore and not deal with the negativity within us. So there is an important point here that I'd like to convey, which is that the light of consciousness transforms. The light of consciousness transforms. So there is the belief that don't focus on the negative, because then you just affirm it. You simply create more of it. Then you're not focusing on your true inner nature of positivity and joy and bliss and peace and creativity and love, which I do believe is our true inner nature. However, the only way to truly transform all this negative stuff is through the light of your own consciousness. The light of consciousness transforms. You have to focus on the negative in order to change it. When you're talking about negativity within yourself, you need to be aware of it. You need to come to greater consciousness of it. You need to face it. You need to jump into it, dive into it, be drawn into it, and in doing so, the light of your consciousness, of your conscious intention, can change and transform and transmute that difficult stuff and reintegrate it back into your consciousness, into your conscious awareness. And I'm not talking about embracing the negativity or saying, okay, I'm all this difficult, unpleasant, crappy feelings that have come up, I'm just going to take them into myself and just accept feeling like that all the time. That's not the point at all. The point is that through the light of your consciousness, shining on the negativity and getting acquainted with it, diving deep into it, coming to a better understanding of it, and reintegrating it into your conscious awareness, then you transform it and you get in touch with a part of yourself that is beyond or beneath that negativity, that is actually trying to resurface and come back into your conscious awareness. And through the power of your attention and your consciousness, you change and transform and transmute and ultimately release that negativity, those difficult feelings, that unpleasantness, and you contact another part of yourself that is an essential part of your being that was being denied, and which was separated from you as a result of these negative feelings and emotions and belief systems. So I don't know how well I'm getting that point across, but it's a matter of reintegrating with other parts of your being that you separated from as a result of denying your real feelings at some point in the past. Anytime that you don't fully be conscious with and process your real feelings, whatever they are, then they get denied, they go into the subconscious, and then they sit there and they continue to create your reality without you realizing it. And eventually they resurface. They create your reality through vibration by manifesting difficult circumstances that bring up those feelings once again and give you the opportunity once again to finally deal with it this time, instead of using spiritual belief systems to ignore it, or going out and getting drunk, or switching on the TV and numbing out, or choose your poison or your addiction to numb yourself out and get away from your real feelings. Instead of doing that, to take the opportunity of this difficult circumstance to really face what you're feeling and be fully present with it. So, pardon the long rambling here to get to the point, but so what does all that mean? And I'll try to be as brief here as possible. But what does that mean? Face it, deal with it, blah blah blah. What are you actually going to do differently to confront this negativity that is coming forward, and truly process it and deal with it in a way that genuinely resolves it this time, instead of simply separating from it and burying it somewhere within your subconscious where you think that it's gone, but it actually isn't. So how do you actually deal with it? And there are obviously many different tools available to us to deal with the stuff in a more healing kind of a way of really facing this negativity. And you can take your pick of yoga and meditation, rebirthing, various body work techniques, therapy, do your own emotional healing work, expressing your anger in a safe environment, and just being willing to look deeper and see what's really going on within you, coming to greater awareness of your real feelings, and basically through the power of your intention and your attention of bringing this stuff to greater awareness, then you will figure out how to integrate it. But it's just that difference of view of trying to bombard negativity with positivity in order to make it go away, versus, and that is basically a separation mentality of I'm just going to focus on the positive and push this negativity away with my positive intention, versus shining your consciousness on it in an embracing way of bringing it into your consciousness and figuring out how to integrate with it. So I think that is another perspective on what Teal is talking about with the spiritual bypassing. So just be more aware of how you really feel, and try to be honest with yourself, and seek ways to confront and bring to greater awareness what your real deeper feelings are, instead of just focus on the positive and positive affirmation and trying to be grateful and trying to be forgiving when that isn't really how you feel. So I'll just give one example here, and I realize this video is kind of getting long here, but I think that this is a good example from my own life that I've told in the past. in a few other videos, and it's also one of the chapters in my book, Kundalini and the Art of Being. So I was having a really insanely difficult day. This was about 20 years ago. Pardon me, my mouth's getting a little dry here. So I was just totally overwhelmed with various feelings of just frustration in my life and anxiety, extreme anxiety, and just having one of those days where I just wanted to, like, you know, just pack up all my stuff and just move, just do something to get away from what I was feeling. But then finally I made a different choice, and I decided to go back to my room. I was living in Eugene, Oregon at the time, and living in a communal household, but I had my own room. And so I went back to my room and just lay down on my bed and decided to just relax into everything that I was experiencing within myself and just allow myself just to be with it, and just to, you know, try to somehow change it through just being more aware of it, rather than seeking a way to get away from it. Go find some friends to hang out with, go have a beer, whatever. So I go into my room, turn the light off, pull the curtain, lay down on my bed on my back with my eyes closed and my arms by my side, and I just lay there. And it was a real relief to just allow myself just to be fully present with everything that was going on within myself, and just to focus on it. And after just a few minutes of laying there, I started to feel a little bit better. And so I allowed myself just to stay there, laying there, for close to an hour. And I could feel myself working with the energy, figuring out how to deal with all this stuff that was within me. But there was something more that needed to happen. And after about an hour, I felt almost as if all of this energy had sort of coalesced or coagulated. Through the power of my focus and my attention, then I'd made all this scattered energy come into greater focus, and it had kind of coalesced into a more coherent form that was hovering above my body. And so I could feel like just all this buzzing energy hovering above my body. But now what? It still felt uncomfortable. And then I had the thought, the realization that I needed to shake my body in order to shake this energy out. And so I allowed that to happen. And I just, laying there on my back on my bed, then I just allowed myself to start moving and shaking my body however I felt like. And it felt really good. I could feel that I was just, penetrating this energy, connecting with it, and this energy was flowing out of me through shaking my body, through working with my body. And so I just allowed myself to do that. And again, I did this shaking thing for a good 45 minutes or an hour or so. And just allowed myself to, move in whatever way felt good, felt like it was releasing this energy. And finally, I felt as if I just released it all. I stopped and allowed myself to just relax and again just lay there on the bed. And I felt completely and utterly changed from 2 hours before, when I had been in one of the most scattered, anxious states of my life. Suddenly, I was in one of the most relaxed, present, in the moment states that I'd ever experienced. And this progressed to the point that I just came into this heightened state of just pure bliss and ecstasy. And so I got up, I went and took a shower, got dressed, and went out of the place where I was living, and went walking around town, and then went to a coffee shop and got a cup of tea or whatever, and started writing in my journal about my experience. And I was just in this totally blissed out state of just, I didn't want anything, I didn't need anything. I was just completely and totally content in the moment. And so that is one example from my life of how completely changed my state of being through my conscious intention and attention of allowing myself to fully focus on and embrace, dive into, and merge with what I was really experiencing within, rather than seeking ways to separate from it. So that's really the point that I want to get across here. And it is, it is up to you, it is up to the individual to figure out what really works for them, what really makes a difference. But that is a lesson from my experience, and ultimately what it is about is, if you really want to be here now, which this is where we are anyways, is here now, but if you want to become more awake and aware and conscious and present in the moment, rather than being scattered within your consciousness to the past and the future, thinking about all the stuff that happened in the past that you don't know how to deal with, that you haven't integrated, that you regret, that you feel guilty about, that you're angry about, or projecting onto the future all the things you're anxious about, worrying about, wondering how it's going to turn out, etc. Really, ultimately, the spiritual path is about bringing your consciousness more focused into the present moment, which is all that there is anyways. In order to do that, you have to be more present in the here now with whatever it is that you are experiencing in the here now, even if it's negative, difficult stuff. So that is really the ultimate key to spiritual healing, in my view, is what are you experiencing right now? What are you feeling right now? What are you thinking about right now? And come to greater awareness and consciousness of that, even if it is negativity, even if it is anger and resentment and judgment. But through the power of the light of your consciousness, then you can transform that negativity, break it open, allow the frozen energy within it to be released, and in so doing genuinely resolve it and come back into a place of true here now beingness, your true state of being of joy and love and bliss and ecstasy and creativity, inspiration and positivity, through having genuinely resolved the negative rather than separating from it. So I think that's probably enough there. Thanks for watching. Feel free to offer any comments below. And as I said at the beginning of this video, for anyone who actually watched this far, then you get an extra special treat. I'll show you the amazing view. The Himalayan Mountains of northern India, Himachal Pradesh state. A beautiful waterfall up there. An amazing spring day here. I'm not sure what these trees are here, but down here with the white flowers, I'm pretty sure that those are apple trees. Apples are the second biggest source of income in this area after tourism. That is the town of Manali down there. The Kulu Valley. Some beautiful birds here flying around. An amazing day. I'm just going to be here now and soak it up. Namaste. So it's a little while later. I've just been hanging out, tripping out on the amazing scenery here, soaking up the sunshine. But I had a quick thought that I wanted to tack on at the end of this video here, which is that I don't mean to be totally down on positive thinking. I don't mean to be saying, and I may have conveyed this, I don't mean to be saying that positive thinking is worthless and doesn't have a role to play and can't help you or anything like that. rather, what I maybe should have conveyed a little bit better is that there is a balance to be found between recognizing the powers of our mind, between acknowledging the fact that our true nature is one of positivity, of bliss and joy and love and inspiration and creativity, and a positive outlook, that is really our true nature of being. Understanding that and seeking to get more in touch with that, while simultaneously recognizing where we're really at, what we're really feeling, what's really going on within us, and striking a balance there between the powers of the mind to create and shift and transform our reality and our state of mind and state of being. Balancing that with recognizing, acknowledging, facing, embracing where we're really at, what's really going on within us, and basically penetrating with our mind, with our mental powers, with our ability to create and change and transform through the light of our consciousness, penetrating into what we're really feeling, what's really going on within us. If it is negativity, embracing that and diving deep into it with the light of our consciousness and transforming it in that way. So finding a balance between the power of the mind to create and alter our reality with recognizing where we're really at and what's really going on within us. I don't mean to say that positive thinking is bad and necessarily avoidance and can't be helpful. There are many ways to change our state of being, our frame of mind, and one is certainly through the power of the mind and by making choices in our lives that put us in situations that inspire us in our lives to be more affirmative about life and about ourselves, and get us excited to be here soaking up this day, such as hiking in the Himalayan Mountains in a absolutely spectacular scene, soaking up the sunshine and the views of the mountains and the trees and the flowers and the birds. And this scene has definitely helped my frame of mind for today. So just wanted to add that at the end here. Thanks for watching. Take care.